Special laps, that will tell us.
Yeah, I can tell you at the moment, Western Sydney are +5.
And Adelaide are +3.
Adelaide are +3, yeah. So, surprisingly, incredibly, Adelaide were -1 heading into this one. So, they have scored a lot, but have conceded a few as well. 20 conceded. Third worst defence in terms of goals conceded in the league coming into this one. But they've got a clean sheet at the moment, and they could be heading for 5. Top or Stanley, didn't know too much about it there.
Another driving run. Brilliant play from Yengi. How well has he led the line? And he's the one that started that move. Got a yellow card out here. It's a yellow card for Dukarkovic, is it?
So Krasniki,
sorry.
Yeah. Palm there. Italiano confidently with the grab. Good news for Adelaide as well, just keeps coming. Think about the men who are injured at the moment. Keeper James Delinov with the hamstring, Kiddo also with the hamstring, and Mo Toure. And then you've got Konstantopoulos and Tommy Juric also out of this side. So they've got so many quality players still to come back in.
Well, the current team holding their first 11 places, and they keep playing and keep winning. Those players are going to find that even in spite of their reputation and quality, they're going to find it hard to get back in.
Spot on, Rob.
Yengi taking them on, winning a free kick. And Nigel Bogard into the book.
I thought he'd already had one, but he hasn't. But brilliant play from Yengi. What about that for direct? Speed with the ball, importantly. Collects this and he's off. He's away from Krasniki. And then he's away. He's one-on-one, because I think he would have got past Top Stanley there, and Bogard takes him out.
Good range here for Craig Goodwin. Already scored from the penalty spot to make it 4 in his last 5 against Newcastle.
Has the rain stopped, Ben?
I think it's just light. It's like visible humidity at the moment. Goodwin, little deflection. Well, big deflection, actually. It's going to sail all the way to the corner flag for another set piece for the Reds. Number 11. So 3 goals already for Craig Goodwin. Just his 4th match back in the A-League after returning from Saudi Arabia. Catching up on Stefan Mork, who's got 6. Maybe his time as the Reds' leading goal scorer could be coming to an end. We'll see if he can get on the end of this. Goodwin with the in-swinger, Italiano. Knocking it away to Jakobsen. Short to Halloran. And now Yengi. In tight areas there. Bozza, just from an Adelaide perspective, 4-0 up at the moment. How do they ensure they keep focused and really fight for this clean sheet? Because
they've got it from a mental perspective. It's very difficult because there are times like this when you're winning 4-0 at half-time. And I've been in that position before when you think, I wish it was like boxing. They could just sort of, call this off right now. But from a mental perspective, you've got to try to trick yourself and say, look, we're going out for this second half, 0-0. Okay, don't think about it too much, you know, because once you start, if you get 3 or 4 players completely switching off, it's the equivalent of playing against 7 or 8 players. And you don't want to, if I was the manager, I'm sure they would, all these systems, say, you don't want to become part of one of those magnificent statistical stories of how somebody come back from 4-0 down. Leave that for other people to be part of the record books when they're not doing so well.
Well, if they're forcing Newcastle to shoot from there, it's a good thing for Adelaide. Najarine just blazing well and truly over. And Joe Gauci, he'll be keen on a clean sheet. Just his second match in the A-League.
Yeah, that, and the other thing I'll be saying to the staff, I'll be saying, right, keep an eye on all the players. If anyone looks as though in any way they could be injured, or there's a possibility they might get sent off, or they're not putting in the work, let's just bring the substitutes on. We can bring on 5. Let's bring them on. Because right now, just like Robbie said before, when you talk about everybody's going to want to be part of this team.
O'Toole. Now Stamatolopoulos. Free kick here for Newcastle. Bozza, from a goalkeeper's perspective, you keep a clean sheet. Do you think that's bigger than a striker scoring a goal?
No. Game's about goals.
Thought you might go the other way. Krasniqi. Newcastle give it away again. But obviously still means a lot to the goalkeeper, especially Joe Gauci coming up. Yengi looking for his second this way, and that ruffles the side netting.
Oh, he's a threat, isn't he, over the top. And he doesn't think about it. He takes him on, and he made that half a yard into the side netting this time. He's already had a shot saved at the near post. This one, little shimmy there, and this one into the side netting, but he is a major threat. Full of confidence.
So Lockie Jackson about to make his entrance for Newcastle. Nige Bogard forced off, the captain. So Bogard off, Jackson on. So that's Newcastle's 3 substitution windows shut, because they've used the 3 windows.
No, didn't they use one at half time?
No,
there's the early one.
Yeah.
Katrumbas, this one. The one at half time doesn't count.
So they've still got 1.
1 to go.
Just looking at the bench, Archbold, Ali Abbas, the men left. Stamatolopoulos. Now Krasniqi. Adelaide again defending so well. Dorigo now to young Gauci. And Newcastle grab something back here. O'Toole into O'Donovan. I mentioned pre-match, just the 2 goals for Roy this season. And his lowest goal-scoring tally in the A-League was back in his first season in the competition, back in 15-16 with the Mariners, just the 8 scored. O'Toole.
Game's so open. Look at the space in that middle of the park. You know, Newcastle are going to push for goals, and that'll leave them open. And they do have major threats: Halloran, Goodwin, Yengi.
Elsie. Neat little touch from Halloran, sends Mork away. Just drove it into the middle of the box. Back out for Halloran. Now Jakobsen. Goodwin. Right, link up down the left. And Lopez, still going Lopez. Little deflection, falls for Top or Stanley. Halloran got the touch. Fell nicely for Yengi, who couldn't squeeze it past Italiano. The flag was up anyway. Just an offside in the middle against Adelaide central striker. And Robbie, I know a lot of Adelaide's players have been pretty impressive tonight. I just want you to talk about their midfield. Mork, Dorigo, Cavallo.
Well, they've, it always starts from the engine room, doesn't it? And they've been excellent. Mork's runs from midfield get a lot of the attention, but of course you need players to be behind you, and Cavallo and Dorigo have been just as impressive in different roles. And you see this midfield now, look at the amount of space they have.
Mork marauding again. Yengi just couldn't quite get the shot away, and now Halloran across Italiano.
Well, that could have been a goal. Every time they go forward, they look like they're going to score. But that was the perfect example. Cavallo doing the work in the middle and Mork with that forward run.
Shifted it back to Ugarkovic. Space to the right for Nazarene. He uses Matt Miller. Touch around to Yule. Running out of room, Valentino Yule now. Did well to turn away from Lopez. And now Miller! Off the underside of the crossbar for Newcastle.
Get a corner, he's desperately unlucky. Didn't he strike it well? Great work from Yule on the right. Just wouldn't give up. Great tenacity and a fair bit of skill as well. Lopez is a difficult character to get around, and he's done him there, put him on his knees, and then the awareness to cut it back. Gee, he's unlucky. Didn't hit it much better.
Nazarene. Top or Stanley with the header. Gauci spilt it. Newcastle unable to make the young Reds keeper pay.
Well, he's lucky that it just falls to an Adelaide player and not Newcastle.
Got to use these moments. The springboards now, Newcastle. It should be one goal to the good. They're not, but they've got to keep going. Use this to gather a bit of momentum. To show Adelaide it's not all over. We're going to keep going right into the 95th minute, no matter what.
There's the openness of this one on show again. Strain sliding it out to Halloran. Turn it inboard to Mork. And now Strain. Sharp at the near post from Italiano.
And sharp play. Right from the other end, they've come through and nearly get another goal. And that's a good save from Italiano. You always say, well, you shouldn't get beaten at your near post, but there was a lot of power in this, and he was fairly close. Super ball from Mork. It's lucky Italiano, he had the momentum carrying that way, but it's still a very good stop.
It's got to be said, but Rob, when Adelaide play like this, and then people will turn around and say, oh, it's against, it doesn't matter, you can only beat who's in front of you. They're as attractive team to watch in the whole country.
Goodwin short. Bit of confidence from Adelaide, just changing up these corners. Why not? You're up 4-0. Dorigo.
Yeah, it's far too easy, isn't it? Getting into space and inside that penalty box, and it's just responsibility of staying with your runners. Another corner. What will he give us this time? Craig Goodwin. Playing a lot short because Rocky Jackson and Topo Stanley very good defensively from corners.
Goodwin going long this time.
That's exactly what you want from your goalkeeper. It relieves the pressure.
Miller now. Valentino Yule can make things happen. Hasn't scored in 5 though. Nazarene. Look at that skill from Rami. And Gauci blocked his near post well.
Nice, good play again. And again, Yule's the catalyst. Driving at the defenders. Beats his first man and sets up Nazarene. He got himself into space, and it's a good save. Again, that near post. He drags this one back, opens it up for himself, and makes himself big, Gauci.
Just magical to watch. Rami Nasharine, this is curling awkwardly in towards that back post. Adelaide again containing the situation well, and then Miller too strong on Halloran.
Well, the only surprise is that it's still 4-0. And of course, Newcastle could have had a couple, Adelaide as well.
Well, Bozza, you were talking about the most attractive side in the country being Adelaide, right up there with sides like Melbourne City. Mariners are pretty attractive as well. They're playing tomorrow night in the A-League. That's a mouth-watering contest.
Absolutely massive clash, and definitely can include both them sides when they play well. Right at this very moment of time, you probably have to have Melbourne City up the top in terms of attractiveness, around. But Mariners are really good to watch in their own way. Western Sydney Wanderers, when they get themselves going, a lot of teams are. MacArthur, lovely to watch play. We'll let this go.
Yule cutting in just beyond Nasharine. The flag's gone up though.
There was, for a good 20-30 minutes yesterday, Western United as well. Were good to watch. I mean, the list just goes on as well. Wellington, I mean, the game that they played in the other day, they played some really fantastic stuff. Sydney, we know about. Brisbane today in the second half. Perth have had their moments. All the teams. I mean, Newcastle even have had their moments. There's no doubt about that. We've been really fortunate. We've been really blessed this season.
Yule, strong work from Jakobsen. I think you just about named every side there, Bozza. Maybe not Victory in the
look, I haven't named Melbourne Victory, no. But they did play in that amazing game against Western United too. But the thing is, Victory have had such a poor season, so I don't think you can really say that. I'm just saying every side has had their moments. Newcastle haven't had a good season either, but they've had their moments in terms of, we're talking about entertaining and attractiveness. I just went through the list, that's all.
Well, I think what you're saying is, and what I believe is, the quality of the competition has been excellent this year.
Krasniqi floating it, Stamatolopoulos, and it just fell for Nasharine. Had the strike, Adelaide getting numbers behind the ball. Yule, well taken by Gauci. Yeah, 100% agree. It's been such a fascinating A-League this season. Not much gap between every side. And this is one of the biggest scorelines we've seen this season. Of course, Adelaide were touched up 4-0 by MacArthur earlier in the season. You can have off days. And Newcastle have been there and thereabouts this season. Just one goal the difference between 12 of the 13 they played coming into this one. Mork, Halloran.
But to your point, Ben, what you're saying tomorrow night, what a huge game that's going to be. Absolutely massive. And of course, they've played each other once this season. Central Coast beat Melbourne City at Central Coast 3-2, I think it was. So we're going to really look forward to that.
City were 2-0 up in that, weren't they?
That's right. And I think
what a comeback. Yeah.
Was it Curtis Good who got sent off, or was it his centre-back partner? Let's check.
Adelaide keen on a fifth here. Halloran towards Yengi. It was that close.
And that just whistles past the far post. Good ball in from Halloran. Yengi attacks it. And it could have been the number 5 quite easily.
So Joe Coletti about to head out there. Hasn't come off the bench too often this season, just 3 appearances off the bench for a 22-year-old.
Good performance from this guy, Cavallo.
It's been excellent. And it was Kieran Stokes that night who got sent off for Melbourne City.
Well, that was close.
Well, it was his defensive partner, Rob.
I'll just get between you and stop the brawl breaking out. No, Josh Cavallo, outstanding. 2 consecutive starts now for him. as I mentioned earlier, left Western United back in February, and Carl Viet was happy to pick him up, coached him at the Young Socceroos, and now he is flying in Reds colours. Lopez. Now Dorigo scored his first A-League goal against the Jets earlier in the season. Now Halloran kind of shifted onto his left. Now it's fall here for the strike from Craig Goodwin.
We're talking about that week. If you remember, like Robbie said, Central Coast Mariners beat Melbourne City 3-2, Rob, on the Wednesday. And then on the Sunday it was when Newcastle here beat Melbourne City. I think that was the catalyst for them. And since then, I'm quite certain they've been exceptional with that. I think they've been unbeaten as well.
Nazarene picks out Stamatolopoulos, and he scores against his former side. His first goal in Newcastle colours. And could it inspire a comeback?
Well, we knew a goal was coming. We just didn't know which side was going to get it. And it's Stamatolopoulos that gets it. Good header at the back post. Goes around. Switch of play. And this is what Nazarene can give you. This is what they've been missing. That's a super ball to the back post. Ryan Strain, but loses Stamatolopoulos. Diving header through the legs of the keeper. No blame on the keeper there. He's so close to him. Downwards header, unstoppable. And Newcastle restore a bit of pride.
Gaucho will be disappointed he misses out on a clean sheet, but Apo Stamatolopoulos with just the 5th goal of his A-League career, the first in almost 2 years. His last came in April 2019. That double he scored for Adelaide, where he scored 2 in the first half, then got sent off before half-time. That was the last time he scored. Set up by Rami Nazarene. Those two could form a lethal combination for Newcastle. Nazarene again in a tight area. Look at the skills from Rami. It's been a pleasure to watch since he's come on at half-time. How do the Reds reset here, Robbie?
Oh, look, I think they've been playing quite well in the second half. They could have had goals themselves. Chances, Yengi's had 3 of them. And Newcastle just found a bit of quality. Nazarene's was a super ball, and Strain just clocked off for a moment. And they've got a goal back, so I don't know if it's about resetting, just staying concentrated, of course, but keep playing the way they are, keep going forward.
Newcastle, as you would expect, scoring the goal. There's just a little bit more energy around them at the moment, but there's some space out there to the left for Adelaide. Yule. A free kick.
That's been in the second half. Lopez on top second. I think Yule's done well against him. A lot of experience. The left full-back.
Ugarkovic, set-piece duties. Stamatolopoulos coming forward, just barreled over, so another free kick here for Newcastle. Things just going their way in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's inexperience. It's definitely a foul, and you didn't really need to do it. Chest this down, and it's definitely a foul. There's no doubt about that. There are plenty of players there, Adelaide, to deal with it. And it's a free kick in a very dangerous situation. Wisniewski and Nazarene over the ball, the obvious ones.
Yeah, this will be interesting. Iridon Krosnici was born in Kosovo. He's got dual citizenship, also with Malaysian citizenship as well. Spent 5 years there playing.
This would make it interesting, wouldn't it?
Well, here we go. He's walking out.
There's someone laying behind
to the wall.
Yep.
And he was just testing whether Adelaide were back the required distance. Anyway, it's Nazarene who goes powerfully.
Offside, aren't they?
Top or Stanley. Yengi. That was an impressive roll.
A degree of difficulty. It wasn't appreciated. I think it was just for show rather than feigning injury. Because at the end of the roll, he gets straight up.
And he has gone into the...
Well, there you go. You're not allowed to do rolls. No gymnastics in the football field.
Did you ever produce anything like that, Robbie?
Don't be daft. No.
So Blake Archbold heads out there for Newcastle, replacing Roy O'Donovan. Just recently signed a contract extension until 2022. There he is, the 19-year-old. Hasn't played since round 5 against Wellington, so good to see him back out there, the young man getting some more A-League experience. And Krasnici's now down for Newcastle. And Barrero stopping play. So just caught one in the head there. Doesn't look to be much in that.
No. Purely accidental. He might have got an eye poke.
Yeah, I think it got him in the eye. That's what I think when he flicked past.
Not pleasant. Not worthy of a free kick for Newcastle. Coletti, Yengi, Mork. Neat footwork again from Yengi, and then Halloran couldn't beat the brick wall in the form of O'Toole. It's gone out via strain. And it allows Adelaide to make another change. And it's Al Hassan Toure. It's going to replace Cassini Yengi.
Well, apart from the roll, it's a super match. Yengi.
Al Hassan has started the last two, but Yengi replaced him in the starting lineup for this one. Mork. Turned over by the Reds. Nazarene rushing into some space there in front of him. He's got Matt Miller making an overlapping run. Got there in the end to Miller. Adelaide again very strong defensively. Krasniqi. Ugarkovic. Yule. Krasniqi used his strength to get past a couple. He almost made it through a few Reds standing in his path. Goodwin is striding now. Inside the final 15 now. They're almost there, Adelaide. So a win, which is going to push them into third place on the table, unless they can score 3 more goals and not concede. Toure picked off by O'Toole. So Adelaide next week returning home to take on Sydney FC. Expect a big crowd at Coopers for that one, as they'll be likely heading for 6 consecutive wins. Newcastle play Perth away. That is a difficult trip for them.
Very much so. Huge test for Adelaide in their title aspirations against reigning champions.
Ugarkovic. He's going to hang it up for the run of Nazarene. He's going to track it down eventually. Good luck, the assistant, seeing whether the ball crossed the line from all the way of the other side, and said it didn't.
In terms of Newcastle, if they go to Perth and lose again, it's 5 straight. 5 straight is 5 straight. And as I said before, when we talked about managers and that at other places and all that, if you keep losing continually, sometimes the board have no choice.
Neat turn from Lopez. Yeah, that'll be interesting. The pressure's certainly on Newcastle Jets head coach after this result. Ugarkovic, and now Stamatolopoulos looking for a second. Krasniqi, and he puts it wide.
He's touched Stamatolopoulos, just took him too close to the keeper. Great smother from Gauci. Go on. Good through ball, gets a deflection, but still gets to him. That touch was just a little bit too heavy. He's trying to, looking to lift it over the keeper, and Krasniqi's follow-up harmlessly wide. But look, there's still 10 minutes to go, but plus injury, of course, but you can only give credit where credit's due, and Newcastle have at least improved a lot in the second half. Adelaide have had chances, but Newcastle have created some themselves. They've got one back, and they've restored a little bit of pride after that horrible first half.
So Yared Abatu and Pacific Nyongabiri heading out there now. You see that collision, gee whiz, was a collision with the turf from Joe Coletti. Big difference in size between those two. Just bounced off Krasniqi. So Lopez gets a rest, as does Ryan Strain. Nyongabiri's 9 appearances this season have all come from the bench. Abatu has been used a few times off the bench and a few times starting as well. Here he is with the throw. Abatu finding Dorigo. Now Coletti clips it round Yule and onto Goodwin. Nyongabiri can light up a match. Pacific Nyongabiri. Yankee, Mork, Halloran and Goodwin the goal scorers for Adelaide, all in the first half. Damage done by half-time. O'Toole now in a foot race with Abatu. Got the touch to Stamatolopoulos. Krasniqi. Pass is cut out. Santoro, we know of his speed, but his skills there letting him down as he saw some space. Credit to the Newcastle Jets fans in the corner down the southern end for making plenty of noise. There they are, southeastern corner of McDonald Jones Stadium. They've kept making noise the entire match despite the scoreline.
Well, amazing credit to them and to all the fans that are here tonight. We've all spoken about people in New South Wales will understand, but to everyone else around the country and around the world who are watching, we've had probably a 1 in 100-year event, as it was described today on radio, in terms of the storms over the last 3 days and the rain. And to leave your house is something that's been advised by the government again, so they've come out to support their team. So congratulations to all of them, tremendous.
Yule trick his way past a couple. Stamatolopoulos well blocked. was Jordan Elsey putting his body on the line. Guerrero coming back for the free kick, and Krasniqi is frustrated here. It's Stefan Mork on the ground, and a little bit of push and shove in there, not too much more.
This is the chance. Yule again. He's been excellent in the second half. He really has. Stamatolopoulos with the strike. And it was a good block, and it was just that as the ball was cleared, Krasniqi judged to have fouled. And he wasn't too pleased.
Yeah, and I just want to reiterate the words said by Mark Bosnich. Our thoughts are with all those affected by the heavy rain for the flooding events across the eastern seaboard. It's been a rough few days, and still rain predicted over the coming few as well.
Yeah, well, I said it last night, and you know, one of our own, a good friend, Andy Harper, he's still flooded in. They're in Nabiac, not too far from here, and he can't get out. Hopefully he's okay, and his friends. People going through tough times at the moment.
Yeah, fires at the start of last year, and now floods. Jackson, now top or Stanley to Ugarkovic. Here's O'Toole. A little bit more cohesion here about Newcastle's play. Krasniqi, O'Toole, Stamatolopoulos, Ugarkovic. Finding Yule, and Yule's deflected cross is going to bring a corner for Newcastle. Steve Ugarkovic still down. Little ginger playing his 104th consecutive A-League match. Got the height to Topor Stanley. Gauchi put under some pressure by Miller. But his height advantage helped in that situation. We should also give some credit to all the Adelaide fans who headed along to Cooper Stadium today for that record-breaking crowd at the W League. Had a good win over the Wanderers, over 5,000 in the house there. And Adelaide into the top four for the moment. Big week coming in the W League as the final four are decided. 5 into 4 doesn't go. We'll find out whether the Reds can make it into the W League playoffs for the first time in their history. They're going to need some help from Sydney FC, who have made the W League finals every year since its inception. And they've got to play Canberra, so can't afford Canberra winning that one. The Reds, the A-League, they are flying. 5 straight wins. They're heading towards now Adelaide United. It's going to be confirmed shortly. And wouldn't it be a nice little cherry on top if they grabbed a 5th here? Nyongabiri. Italiano got a paw to it.
Got a touch, yeah. That's a terrific save if he did. It looked like he'd done the hard thing there, Nyongabiri. Challenge there from Coletti, and Mork just rolls this in. He's one-on-one with Lachlan Jackson. Step over, makes that half a yard. And that's a really good save.
Just the one A-League goal for Nyongabiri. And he brought out the handstand as well from memory. Called a cross. For Al-Hassan Toure, just nudged almost inside the near post of Italiano. Took a wicked deflection. Stefan Mork just stretching out some cramp. Of course, more prevalent in these type of conditions with a heavy pitch underfoot. Maybe more sinister than cramp.
He needs some treatment. No more substitute times as well left for Adelaide. Remember I said to you at the start when you're asking about what you're doing, and you know, when you're winning 4-0, to make sure that, touch wood, none of your players get injured, or if there's any risk in them getting injured, taking them off. But that option's obviously gone, regardless of the fact that by the time, if one of your players that you're in this type of position has got any type of issue, just take him off. So it might be that Adelaide just play out these last 5 minutes with 10 men. But Adelaide finishing as they started tonight, on the attack, on the front foot. They've been absolutely devastating tonight. We're very proud of their efforts. Wonderful to watch, fast, sleek, quick.
Yeah, so there you go. He's just walking gingerly, and you sense maybe they may just play it with the 10 men. You would expect so. If it's a little niggle, you're up 4-1. Why risk him? Whipped in, and it's going to beat everyone.
Yep, there was an empty net there for, it was Halloran at the back post, but there was also, was it Nyingabiri in there as well? It flashed across the face of goal.
They were queuing up at the back post. So inside the final 30 seconds now of normal time. Nyingabiri. Jakobsen back to Goodwin. Jackson backtracking on for the injured Nigel Bogart in the second half. Lockie Jackson.
Can Newcastle get one more to make it more respectable for them? As I said, Bozza was right. Adelaide have been superb this evening. Newcastle improved in the second half.
Miller with a first-time cross shot, you'd probably call that.
It was an attempt at a cross, but ended up, that's what they call them actually. It's a cross shot. A cross that becomes a shot.
Cross come shot.
Always make it a little difficult for goalkeepers, those one, Bozza, do they? You're expecting a cross, so it's a little further from goal.
You always got to have yourself in an aggressive position if you're an attacking goalkeeper, which I was, so that you want to cut out the cross. But you've always got to make sure if that happens, or if the player is super smart and super good, and one that comes to mind used to do that quite regular would be someone like Peter Beardsley. I remember one of me and Boban tried to do it to me once when he was playing for AC Milan. Would look up like he was going to cross it, but you could see in the corner of his eye that you've prepped, and just spank it towards that near post is very, very ridiculous. You've got to make sure you're in a position where you can get back if you have to.
Ugarkovic saw Krasniqi had some green pastures ahead of him. And Goodwin just doing the job on Valentino Yule and getting the free kick as well. He continued his good form against his former side Newcastle. 5 goals all told in his career for the Reds against Newcastle. 4 in his last 5 matches. He has been the thorn in the Jets side, but wasn't all about him tonight. And of course, scored the winner 2 weeks ago. Just superb attacking football from the Reds throughout. Yengi scoring that first goal, followed by Mork, Halloran, and then Goodwin with the penalty. Stamatolopoulos with the consolation goal for Newcastle. Krasniqi, Miller, Elsie away. Goodwin calmly to Dorigo. Krasniqi. Backfield to Ugarkovic. Now Stamatolopoulos. Well shut down. Coming across there was Yared Abatu. Good desperation off the bench, as you'd expect. Inside the final minute now. And Joe Coletti. Can they seal what has been a 5-star performance with the deserved 5th goal? The Reds, they don't seem too keen at the moment. Just want to chew up the remaining seconds and get back on the bus and head to the airport with a 5th consecutive win. Abatu beats a couple. Abatu powered it again, and Italiano has been good in this second half, hasn't he?
He certainly has, and he's protected that near post. Abatu went for the strike. It's had a good height for him.
So an Adelaide annihilation here in Newcastle. Their red-hot form continues. 5 straight wins for the first time since 2016. And it all got started early. Cassini Yengi with the first in the 5th minute. And they just kept rolling on. Mork, Halloran and Goodwin continued the barrage from the Reds. Stamatolopoulos with a consolation. But Carl Viet and Adelaide United are going to head home very, very happy ahead of a huge clash with Sydney FC next Sunday. Full time in Newcastle, the Jets 1, Adelaide United 4.
So no answer after that dynamic first half for Adelaide United. You probably know you're in a bit of strife if you're the home side. The home crowd's going to get on you when you're 4-0 down at half-time. And it was a little better, the Jets, in that second half, Mark Bosnich. But in the end, that classy first half told the story of the match.
Well, it did. It was, in all intents and purposes, over at half-time. But look, you have to give a little bit of credit to Newcastle for the way they came back in the second half, and those for searching and really striving for positive points to say, well, we won the second half 1-0. But the truth of the matter is that